So after the success, or like the crazy success of the Avengers, Marvel's been rolling out a ton of Avengers-based stuff. Most of it's been through Disney and Disney XD with all of their cartoons. Their Earth's Mightiest Heroes before the Avengers came out. I believe it was before. Unfortunately, that got canceled, and then they switched to the new Avengers show. Then they have the Hulk show, and then we still have Ultimate Spider-Man, and now we're getting into more live action based Marvel stuff, and so now we have Agents of Shield. And this first episode I thought was really well done. Tons of great reviews for it. A lot of people I'm sure looking forward to it. Not just people like me who like really love comic books and things like that, but people who just enjoy really good TV shows. I'm sure into this as well. And I think this first episode was a good example of what the show's going to be like. It has funny moments, mostly from Coulson. It has, it wasn't insanely action based in this episode, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure we'll have that, in future episodes anyway. But we got little action scenes. We of course got some superpowers. None from the team. I thought there would be some superheroes on the team, but they're just normal people who are just good at what they do, and that's actually really cool because it has the superhero element because they'll be dealing with all of these crazy over the top things, but they're just superhuman in their own way, and not in the I can run at super speeds or I can punch with super strength, things like that. They're just people who have great skills. So it's really cool to have that aspect of it's a superhero show with superheroes, but not because they have superpowers. And this first episode, we got a small little hint for something that might come up in the future, and I'll get to that later. But the overall episode itself, introducing all the main characters was really well done. We have our little team, Coulson being the lead, and then we have who's sort of the second in command, and she's sort of the like a veteran agent, and obviously she's you know well known because the guy who's kind of the main character, so to speak, who was introduced pretty much in the beginning of the episode. When he first sees her, he says, and I believe her name's May. So he says, like, is that May, Agent May, and like, he's like, she's not just a pilot. What are you really trying to do? Because obviously, she has some insane skills, which we do get to see a little bit of, and that was a part of the action that we get to see with her, and she just has some really good skills. She's a trained agent, and she wanted to stay behind the desk, but obviously when she's out in the field, she gets the job done, and she gets the job done very well. So it was cool to see her. You know, she like wants to be the desk worker, but she's obviously good in the field, and so she's the second in command. Then we have the two younger members. I like them together. They're like the duo of the group, and they're like the super smart team, and they're really funny together. Like I like the scene when they're talking, and like everyone's around them, and then they start talking about how they can um, basically like get this audio, and then they just start talking to each other like really fast, and everyone else is just like left out until they solve the problem themselves, and they're like, okay, that could work. And they kind of just like block everyone else out because they're just like on the genius level, and they're just like, all right, we can do this or we can do that, and we can figure it all out, and everything else kind of like they're just in a bubble at that point. And I thought it was pretty cool, and they're obviously the funnier characters in the show, and they're funny by themselves, and I think they're funny funniest together, so I really like them as well. And then we have the new member who she becomes a member towards the end of the episode, and she's like the funny, I guess, like rogue hacker type girl, and she's really cool. She kind of wants to stop Shield at first, excuse me, and then when she sees what Shield really does when they try to help people with powers and not just capture and contain them, she gets to see that they are actually good guys. And also she kind of gets to see that through Coulson when he kind of when he injects uh, the veteran agent with the truth serum, and she's he kind of leaves them to the two in the room, and he says, if you don't trust us, just ask him whatever you want, and he has to tell you because he was injected with truth serum. So I kind of like how they played with the characters. And Coulson does, he gets the job done in unconventional ways, but not in ways that'll actually hurt other people. He'll do it in a way where it's funny to us as viewers, and it might suck for the person he does it to, like in this episode. But overall, he knows it won't be like damaging to the person, and he'll get what he wants to get in a way that, in the end, is absolutely fine and doesn't, get anyone hurt. They might be a little mad that it happened because they weren't expecting it, but in the end, everyone kind of gets what they want, and things just work out for the better. So, the inclusion of all the characters, or the introduction, I think was really well done. The the sort of change from hero to villain of the villain of this episode, I thought was really well done too. Initially, I thought he would be Luke Cage, because it's been talked about a lot that Luke Cage would be one of the known superheroes that would be in this show. So I initially thought it was him, and I thought they kind of might have changed the character where he is an older guy and he has a son and stuff like that. And I thought that would be really cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't him, and you're just thinking about how that character would have worked if it was Luke Cage, older Luke Cage with a son. I just think that would have been really cool, but it led into the main story, at least for the first couple of episodes. It might not be this whole season, but it led into what is basically Project Centipede. And like, something I thought when they mentioned it, it's based off of a formula from the super soldier serum, and the first thing I thought was, that's like everyone's first problem in anything Marvel based, is like somebody did something with this super soldier serum, and they got it wrong. And that it generally, that's the same thing. It's the same thing every time. Someone, they get strong and then they kind of go crazy. And in this case, after a certain point, they'll explode. Normally, they're just like on a crazy rampage because they lose their minds. And for this, it was sort of half and half, where he kind of went crazy, but he was trying to still be a really good father to his son. But with the serum affecting him, it was a lot harder for that to work out. But I like how they solved the problem in the end. Of course, the duo in the team came up with a cure for him, so they solved the problem. He didn't have to die, and his son didn't have to lose a father. I thought it wrapped up really well, and leads into them trying to find whoever created Project Centipede. And who we see is the woman who the guy rescues in the beginning of the episode. And I thought that was a pretty cool twist, because when he went to see her, I kind of thought, because he was starting to lose his mind, so he kind of went to her just to have someone who actually like wants to see him and be around him and stuff, so he could feel better. But then we find out, she's the one who, gives him the serum. But there's most likely someone over her too, because generally you don't just get like the main person in the very beginning. But even if she is, it'll be cool to see her come in and out of the episodes and sort of give other people powers while she's trying to fix the super soldier serum to to its perfection, so that they can actually make superheroes whenever they want to, and not have them lose their minds and just explode when they overheat, pretty much. But I thought the episode was really well done. And one of the biggest things I caught, and this was what I mentioned, what might have been a bit of a hint or it was definitely a hint that'll come in later, either in this season or next season, because I'm sure this will get a season too. But that is that Coulson isn't Coulson. They initially give an explanation, of course, when the show was first announced. Everyone was like, how is he alive? There are all the speculations he could have, which they kind of use in the show. A lot of people said, maybe Fury faked his death because he obviously saw that no one was motivated. So he faked that he died, and told everyone that, so that they joined together and beat Loki. And so they used that in the episode. And then, of course, once he goes away, when he says like, I was in Maui or Tahiti or whatever, you know, I can't think of her name, but Kobe Smulders, that's the actual actress. She's talking with the doctor, and he says like, does he know, or he doesn't know, and she says he can never know. And so a lot of people thought that maybe he's cloned, and that line she says, it kind of leads me to believe he has to be cloned. And if it's not that, then I don't see what else it could possibly be because, if there's something he can never know, it doesn't make sense that it would just be he died and came back. It would have to be like he's not really Coulson. And a little hint that they also did, it might have been a hint, it could have just been random, but when he was, I believe it was with the basically the two scientists on the team, when they said they couldn't do something, he said, like, don't ever tell me, it can't be done. And it seemed like he kind of just, flipped like that to me, and he just like, just jumped on them. And then he kind of just said, like, it's like he calmed right down and said, just get it done, it's on you. And to me, that seemed like it could possibly be a bit of a side effect of him being a clone, some, random residual stuff left over, I don't know. But it seemed out of the ordinary for his character, his introduction in the episode was really funny too. And him as a character, he's just funny, and then that one moment, he just seems to just flip when they say, it can't be done. He just like snaps on them. So it could have been random, but like I said, it might also be a hint. And obviously, with this being the first episode, that's pure speculation. But we got a little hint of what's gonna come later in this season or next season, and I'm really excited for that. Already more than anything else, is he a clone or is it something else crazy, something like that? Maybe he's an android. Who knows? But whatever it is, I'm sure that's gonna be great. And whatever they do, with the whole Project Centipede stuff and the other random missions they're gonna have, based off of the little promo they gave at the end of the episode, I think it'll be a really great season. So comment below, let me know what you thought of the first episode. Where do you think things are gonna go? And are you glad Coulson's back? And obviously the answer to that would be yes, but still, comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching.